Yo guys, Haku here with a really cool special video that I'm really excited to bring you guys. And before I get into it, my voice is starting to wear out a little and my throat's a little dry. I don't know why, but I do bulk record a lot on Friday, so I have at least 2 videos a day, or 3 videos over the weekend, 2 one day, 1 another day, or maybe 2 videos a day. So I always but I can't record on the weekends. I can't. So I have to bulk record on Friday or Thursday for that. So sorry if my voice is wearing out a little. I've recorded a lot today and this is the last of my videos I'm bulk recording this Friday. So with that 44 seconds of time wasted, I'm going to get into what this video is actually about. And it's something that I want to start doing every once in a while whenever I think it's necessary. And that's my top 5 current candidates for next Straw Hat. Before I get into the top 5, I'm going to give a few honorable mentions. One is Foxfire Kinemon. It's possible that Kinemon could join after Wano Kuni, but I'm thinking there's a little bit of unlikelihood to that since he has Momo to take care of. And he's strong, but he isn't that strong, and we haven't seen a ton out of him. He doesn't really have a specific dream or job he would play at this point, so I really think that Kinemon is a maybe, but not very likely. He's not in the top 5, obviously. Next honorable mention is Carrot. I think she's really cool. I really like Carrot, and this is just a personal choice, but I would love to see her get developed, get a nice backstory and more info to where she could be a potential future Straw Hat. But as for right now, it's meh in likelihood. Then there's Full Power Sicilian, who we haven't seen a lot out of. He doesn't have a specific dream that we know of. He isn't very powerful from what we have seen so far, but he's a possibility because we got him named, and he seems like he's going to be playing a decently important role in the Zoe storyline. Now, thinking far into the future, and just a wild guess, seeing like a mink crew join the fleet using Zoe, the Elephant Island itself, as a ship would be all kinds of epic. But I don't think that's going to happen. That was just a little side thought I just thought up in the spur of the moment and yelled at the camera. But there's that. And I'm going to say I think that Kanjuro and Momo not joining, they're just too weak. They're too weak of characters, and I don't think they'd make very good Straw Hats. And Nekomamushi and Inuarashi, I don't think either of them are joining because they are both too important to Zoe as a location. Now getting into actual choices, number 5 is going to be the Scrub Lord Bellamy himself. And no, it's not just because I do personally like Bellamy as a character. I have actual legitimate reasons for thinking he's the 5th most likely to be the next Straw Hat at this point in time. Now, believe it or not, from him getting wrecked by Luffy, he's strong. He's a very strong fighter with a high bounty. And we've heard them talk about that, but we haven't really got to see it very much yet. So it would be nice to see him more, and I think that if he does turn out to be, as a couple people have theorized, well, more than a couple really, that he is Sanji's brother, he could always come back during this Sanji arc to try to save his little brother from this arranged marriage or something, and then Luffy shows up, and they're both like, whoa, hey, you're here? Let's save Sanji together. So it's always a possibility, I think, that he could join in that way, but not super likely. One of the bigger reasons, I think, is because he was such a key player in the Dressrosa storyline, and yet his conclusion in the Dressrosa storyline is just one flashback of him taking the Viver card. That's all we got. That was a very odd way for him to exit the Dressrosa storyline. Just a very odd way for him to take his leave for right now. So I think we may see him sooner rather than later, just because of the odd exit. Also, if Bellamy did join, I feel like he would have a specific dream, given that he's already said his dream is to sail this world with the man he respects. who was once Doflamingo but is now Luffy. So it would seem that him sailing under Luffy would be very much a thing that could happen. And as for job, Killer is the fighter position in Kid's crew, so we've seen that fighter is a position. He could have a position as simple as fighter in Luffy's crew. I mean, Zoro is just swordsman and Usopp is sniper, so I think fighter is a simple position, but it could be something that happens. Number 4 is Wanda. Now I could see Wanda being Inuarashi's daughter, and I could see us getting a very sad and tragic flashback about her. She could have a tragic past, and I think that she has a lot of development that could happen for her. Wanda is a character that I think we've only seen the tip of the iceberg for, and I think we could get a lot more info on her. I think she could be very important in the future. Her strength is questionable, but she does seem as though she could... Again, this is one of those things where it's potential, not things we've seen already. I don't know what sort of job she would take, but her potential for dreams is she could want to find the history of the minks and where they came from. Or let's say Zoe is dying. We find out, we talk to Zoe and Zoe is dying or something because it's been alive for so long. And maybe she's going to find a way to save Zoe, or find the rest of Zoe's kind at the end of the Grand Line or something. She could have some sort of goal like that, or even just to represent her people, represent the mink race out in the larger world of One Piece. Now getting into number 3. Number 3 is a character who I think would have the same sort of end goals of like saving Zoe, finding its people, representing his people, the same goals as Wanda. I think that Pedro of the Treetops is the third most likely to be the next Straw Hat to join. Now, I could very, very much see Pedro's past being developed a lot more, and him getting a nice tragic past like any Straw Hat, and I could see him taking the Straw Hat's side when this whole samurai thing goes down and the minks flip on the Straw Hats. I could see him taking the Straw Hat's side and maybe taking Luffy with him and going to Zoe to speak with Zoe about what to do now that the minks are angry and hunting them down and after the Straw Hats and the samurai. So I could see that happening, and they could hide from the minks because we've seen that he's powerful, people on Zoe respect him, and more than that, he is hidden from observation haki users like Luffy, Law, Usopp, Zoro. Pretty sure Zoro has observation haki, and Usopp might have it. I don't know if it was just a spur of the moment thing or if he has it permanently, but he used it at least once. So yeah, I think Pedro definitely has the power potential to be a Straw Hat, and I think he has something that a lot of the other candidates, especially the mink candidates, don't have, and that's a specific job or role he could play. And he could obviously play lookout or He could obviously be the Straw Hat's lookout or spy. Now, spy is a bit iffy because, I mean, just going out and maybe scout's a better term to use than spy. But he could just go out stealthily and sneak into places, infiltrate them, see stuff, things like that, see stuff. But you know what I mean. Like, he makes a good lookout or scout, I think. And the Thousand Sunny is made of Adam wood from the great Adam tree. And he is Pedro of the Treetops. Maybe he could be a lookout. Yeah. Either way, I think Pedro is a good choice. He's a personal choice that I like a lot. But when it comes to... He's a personal choice I like a lot, but I just can't put him higher than third most likely at this point in the story. We haven't seen enough yet. Second most likely, of course, Knight of the Sea, Jinbei. Jinbei is pretty much guaranteed to be joining in some way whenever we next meet up with him. He's either going to be joining as a full crew member, or he and his crew will ally themselves under Luffy, maybe join the fleet. Either way, Jinbei's going to be part of the crew, and he's definitely strong enough. Of course he's strong enough. He was a former Shichibukai. Now, the reason I think he's second most likely is because really soon, I guess as soon as we finish the Zoe arc, we're going to be going into the Big Mom arc. And his business that he had to do was to go to Big Mom and tell her, you know, our deal's off, I'm taking my crew and we're not being under you anymore. He had to get his crew from out under Big Mom. So that sounded a bit off, but you know what I mean. He had to get his crew back from Big Mom and just free them, I guess, to do what they want to do. So I think when we get into the Big Mom storyline, Jinbei has a very, very high chance of coming back, and also a very high chance of joining the main Straw Hat crew. Though if he brings his crew with him, he'll probably just be an ally like Law, or a subordinate like Cavendish or Bartolomeo. Also, to bring up what sort of dream or job he could have, his dream, of course, could be to carry on Fisher Tiger and Queen Otohime's dream of bringing equality for fishmen to the entire world. So he could fight for equality, and that's his dream. And also his job, he could be a vice captain. He certainly has the experience, or a quartermaster. If maybe vice captain's a little much, he could be a quartermaster. He could be the helmsman, which is kind of a generic job to give him, but he could be helmsman. Or I think we just met somebody who is the advisor of the fire tank pirates, being Vito. So maybe Jinbei joins as the advisor to the Straw Hat Pirates. Since he has all this wealth of experience, since he's older, he's been a pirate for a long time, a Shichibukai, he can give his experience in this world to Luffy through advice. Now at this point, I think the number one most likely choice for Straw Hat is Master Caesar Clown. Caesar is incredibly strong and has a wide variety of abilities. So he's obviously very strong and unique, but also he's not too strong. He wouldn't overshadow the other Straw Hats, I don't think. At least not most of them. And it'd be interesting to see a Logia user join, and I think he'd be a great choice for Logia user. And it seems more and more likely all the time that he is going to be probably the next one. What I mean by that is that you remember how Frankie was a bad guy and Caesar Clown was a bad guy. Then Robin got taken, but Frankie was also taken and could have died there and probably would have been executed like Robin. But Frankie flipped sides and helped them save Robin. That's kind of close to what's happening now, with Sanji being taken and Caesar, the former bad guy, also being taken and probably about to die. And Caesar will likely flip sides and help the Straw Hats save Sanji from Big Mom. The only problem with all of that, and with all of him joining really, is he has done some pretty terrible shit. Now, of course, I think the fans have really already forgiven him mostly. It's just that they need to give him something for it to make sense for the actual characters to forgive him. And that's easy to write, but it's harder to make it make sense, and it might not even make it that much sense how easily they forgive him for what he's done. But I think they are going to forgive him, and that he has a very easy chance of joining if he switches sides during this fight and helps them save Sanji. Also though, for his personality quirks and like just look overall, he looks like a Straw Hat. He looks like he could join. I really think Caesar Clown is a good choice stylistically, I guess. He really fits with the Straw Hats. I could see him joining so much. He fits. And of course, another big reason that I talked about with some of the other characters, he has a specific job and a specific dream. Of course, the specific job he would play, the role he'd play in the Straw Hats, is scientist. He's a scientist. And his dream, to be the best scientist, to surpass Vegapunk. So, of course, Zoro wants to be the best swordsman and to surpass Mihawk. So it's kind of a similar dream, and I think we could still have a very tragic past for Caesar Clown that we haven't seen yet. So, as for right now, and again, maybe in 50 chapters when a ton has changed, I'll do another video like this of my top 5, maybe even 30 chapters if a lot has changed by then. And I'll just outline my top 5 most likely every once in a while. And as for right now, the most likely is Master Caesar Clown. I thank you guys for sticking through it. Like if you liked it, comment to put your thoughts about my your thoughts about my thoughts, or your thoughts on who you think are the most likely new Straw Hats. And follow on Twitter if you want updates. Subscribe for more One Piece all the time, more Tower of God, more The Walking Dead, more anime, more manga, and everything else, whatever you guys find fun, whatever I find fun. Thank you all for your support, and I will see you guys around.